Hi, my name is Sigurd and I do music for video games and sometimes the occasional film stuff. A while back I was fortunate to do some work for Honor of Kings for their whole Kong new character thing they had going on. So I figured I would go through one of the pieces which is for the whole cinematic, telling you about this new character that they released and so on. So this is the session and it's chaos basically. There were so many revisions, and this of here of course is the reference stuff, and we have a lot of stuff that is muted and a whole section of instrumentation that we didn't get to use anyways. Down here we have some stereo bound stuff because the session was already getting cluttered and we had to add a new beat and some more ethnic oriented instruments, Chinese instruments. And of course we have a lot of stuff out here that didn't get used, but we still finished up a track. So I can't show the video in the session because that's not the final one, and I wouldn't want to share any of the stuff that is not to the public eye. So maybe it's just going to be the session. Maybe I'm going to find a way to cut in the video of the original or something. But let's go through it kind of section by section. Okay, so this is how it starts out. So that's kind of the first section of the whole cut. And you will see sometimes in the session here some things like these strings are playing here and also over here, but no sound comes out. And that's pretty much on purpose. It's because it's the final edit. So down here somewhere I have these two VCAs, which are automated to utter shite, which in the end turns up and down, for they're kind of linked together with some of the instrumentation and some of the other stuff to kind of dog things out with automation and so on. It's chaos. As I told you, this session is a bit chaos. So, well, that's the first section. It pretty much goes on is with the stereo bounced beat down here, and the beat and the Chinese instrumentation. And we also, together with that, have some more like modern trailer-ish sound effects, which should be playing. Yes. So basically, most of all the stuff that's happening is happening down in these stereo bounce files. Even this pulse stereo synth thingy, not stereo thingy, synth thing is not playing due to the automation I showed you earlier. But then we get into the new section. Which is kind of like we're kind of keeping it low, keeping it ambient, and kind of just emphasizing what's actually happening on the edit of the final video. So kind of building the ambience and the vibe up to what's essentially gonna happen next, which is this stuff. And this is the section of the whole thing where stuff actually kind of starts to happen, because up until here it's very minor, it's very minor built. It's not as in the sense of whether it's major or minor, but the overall instrumentation is very small. So everything kind of starts happening up here. Start to get some percussion. Very small stuff. Basic stuff, and here actually I believe we start to get some of the strings in. Yeah. Yeah, and we layer it up with some synths. Pangea by Infinite Samples, I believe. That's a bonker synth. I really like it for this kind of stuff. Not sponsored. I guess you're supposed to say that. Yes, and we get some leads also from Pangea, which I have some stuff on it. This is how it sounds without the Fury distortion. Very cool sounding, very cool kind of fundament to build upon, but with a bit of nice distortion. And then, of course, as any other cinematic composer, if you take one note, make it sound big with reverb, and you bend it either upwards or downwards, instant money. That's just how it works. I can't remember if these pulses are actually in the final mix. Let's see. Yeah, good stuff. Simple, powerful, and effective. And we have a bunch of sound design to some kind of like more modern Brahms type sound stuff with some hits. Yeah, cool stuff. And we have the kind of to emphasize the edit points and so on. We have some hits. Basic stuff, rises. And of course all the extra, I'm not going to pronounce these instruments because I just don't want to try, but all this stuff got cut. Maybe I can show that someday. That's for a whole other session. So that's basically it for this quick little Honor of Kings thing. Now, if this was, I'm not sure if this is used or gonna be used also as actual in-game ambience. I don't know. I haven't heard anything. It's been a while since this. But if you were to use this in-game, you could use the stems as the usual you do. Stuff like this, and you can have some of the ambience on its own in the stems and use it like that. I do play the game myself, but I haven't recognized anything, so I think this is just used for this game cinematic. So I don't know, let me know if you know anything I don't. Anyways, thank you for checking this out. It was surely a fun track to do, and as I mentioned, I do play the game myself, so it was quite the honor to actually get to work on the game. That was very nice. So until next time, thank you for stopping by. Bye bye.